So, hallo erstmal. Willkommen zu Out of Scale. Da habe ich gestern ein Video zu gemacht, aber der Ton hat leider nicht aufgenommen, deswegen mache ich jetzt nochmal ein Video dazu und habe mir gedacht, kann ich auch gleich drüber sprechen und was dazu sagen. Ersten Eindruck habe ich ja jetzt. Und ja, das ist eine Lern-App-Spiel-Ding von Kurzgesagt. Die machen diese lustigen Internetvideos, wo die komplizierte Sachen mit schönen Animationen erklären und in demselben Stil, sowohl grafisch als auch erzähltechnisch, ist auch diese App. Der Stil funktioniert ziemlich gut in VR. Die wirkt echt interessant. Ist technisch nicht so beeindruckend. Ist zwar alles ausreichend scharf, würde ich mal sagen. Nicht beeindruckend scharf. Aber sieht alles sehr stimmig aus hier. So. Wir sind hier in so einer Kapsel und können hier Dinge verkleinern und vergrößern, die in der falschen Größe sind. Hier kann ich die Welt verkleinern und vergrößern, also in welchem Maßstab wir unterwegs sind. Hier habe ich so Missionen, die ich machen kann. Hier sehen wir jetzt keine Mission in dem Level, aber wahrscheinlich auf der Ebene. Gehen wir mal runter. Warum können wir da nicht hin? Auf Human können wir. Ja, dann können wir gucken, ob wir hier irgendwas scannen können noch. Das Flugzeug haben wir schon eingesammelt. Dann gehen wir auf Human. Hier die Kapsel zu. Dann sieht man auf dem Bildschirm, kleiner wird. Das ist mir auch ein bisschen immersiver gewünscht. Aber ist der Flugzeug. Schöne Übergänge. Immerhin wird man nicht in einen Bildschirm verpflanzt.
Wow, that's a huge tardigrade. I love tardigrades. They are so cool. These troops are a total overkill. I'm sure it just wants to play. We need to scale it down before it gets hurt. And causes more damage, of course. Normally, this tardigrade would be about 500 microns long, or around the size of a grain of sand. Even though they're so small, they can withstand all sorts of extreme conditions. Stuff that would surely kill you is no problem for them. We don't have enough shrinkagen to shrink this tardigrade yet. Until we do, we need to get all those legs to stop squashing stuff.
Okay.
Normally, this tardigrade would be about 500 microns long, or around the size of a grain of sand. Even though they're so small, they can withstand all sorts of extreme conditions. Stuff that would surely kill you is no problem for them.
Okay, was können wir da tun?
See? The ice cream vendor knows they're perfectly safe. This used to be one of those barricades until the tardigrade stepped on it. There's likely to be a lot more rubble around if you don't find a way to slow it down. Never mind the red light now. Giant tardigrade trumps traffic rules. They really didn't need to bring out the tanks for this. The tardigrade doesn't mean any harm. Thankfully, it looks like they're just waiting for now. What are all you lab ducks doing out here? Shh, go away. They really didn't need to bring out the tanks for this. The tardigrade doesn't mean any harm. It seems like the shrinkagen leak is still wreaking havoc on the other labs. That's more tidying up for us, but also more shrinkagen for the tardigrade. That's a neutrophil, the enthusiastic killers in your bloodstream that live to take out intruding bacteria. That's a neutrophil, the enthusiastic killers in your bloodstream that live to take out intruding bacteria.
Das machen wir jetzt mal in der richtigen Größe. Bacteria. genau kriegen wir hier das Schrumpfzeug für. Und die Sachen wieder auf die richtige Größe bringen. Und wir haben die Sachen in unserer Sammlung. Die kann man sich dann in Mixed Reality angucken, aber das habe ich noch nicht angeguckt.
Tardigrades are aquatic creatures. They're often called water bears. Even the ones that live mostly on land have a thin film of water over their bodies. It helps them feel cozy and stay active. They really didn't. We need more clues. This is the perfect opportunity for you to visit the bacteria realm.
Okay.
I love seeing tardigrades in their natural environment, and we might get an idea about how to deal with them.
Manchmal tauchen diese Sachen auf, die kann man dann eben schrumpfen. Das kann man mal beobachten alles.
Strange matter. No, really, that's what it's called.
Bestimmt ganz klein, ne? So, hier taucht gleich noch was auf.
Oh, a coronavirus. Good thing you found that. Don't worry, the lab containers will keep it from spreading.
So, das war's hier, glaube ich. Gehen wir jetzt mal auf die Bakterienebene.
Ah, caffeine. Probably one of humanity's favorite molecules.
Ja, ihr merkt schon, das Spiel ist komplett auf Englisch. Ist nicht Einstellungssache, geht nur Englisch. Aber ich hoffe, die liefern noch was nach hier auf Deutsch. Ja, schade. Und viele da nicht zugreifen. Ich hoffe, die ganz viel, ne? Ich könnte jetzt auch mal hier mit meiner Drohne rumfliegen. Also auch keine Kollision mit dem Bett. Das ist schade. Das hätten sie physikalisch machen können. Hier mit der Drohne fliegen. Das ist mit einem Greifarmautomat. Hauptsache Drohne. Investigate the water for Tardigrades terrarium. Okay.
Tardigrades are aquatic creatures. They're often called water bears. Even the ones that live mostly on land have a thin film of water over their bodies. It helps them feel cozy and stay active.
Ja, dann gehen wir jetzt mal in den Bakteriengröße.
We are inside that puddle now. Water may look empty to you most of the time, but here in the bacteria realm, you can see that there's a whole other world that's full of life, including tardigrades.
Die sehen so cool aus, die Viecher, ne? Ich habe ja auch einen in Figment XR gebaut, in Originalgröße. Beeindruckende Viecher. So, investigate.
The multi-tool is in collecting mode right now. If you want to analyze something new, you'll need to take the capsule out. Tardigrades are like little tanks, but when they don't like the environment, they go into an inactive ton state, where they basically put being alive on hold. Getting the big one into its ton state would make it a lot easier to scale down.
Okay.
These tardigrades are just waking up from ton state at the moment. Lots of things can cause a tardigrade to go into its ton state: heat, cold, dehydration, high pressure, or lack of oxygen. These ones might have been dehydrated until that wave came along. The ton state is a really special power. When they're like this, tardigrades have been known to survive 6 times the pressure at the bottom of the Marianas Trench, the deepest part of the ocean, and the vacuum of space. That's no moon. Wait, no. Yes, it is. Is that the new veggie patty from the health lab? Is that the new veggie patty from the health lab?
Das war der falsche Text. Ich habe schon den nächsten angeklickt. So, das ist die Menschengröße.
If you want to analyze something, you'll need to remove the capsule from the multi-tool. Rotifers are also able to defend themselves against dehydration. When they feel the water is getting scarce, they pull a similar trick to the tardigrades and curl themselves up as the water discharges from their bodies, decreasing their volume greatly. Rotifers are also able to defend themselves against dehydration. When they feel the water is getting scarce, they pull a similar trick to the tardigrades. This is a single-celled organism called a diatom, sometimes called jewels of the sea. These tiny organisms generate a big chunk of all the oxygen produced on Earth. Nematodes are one of the few animals which can resist dehydration to similar levels as tardigrades. They can also get rid of most of the water in their cells and come back to life just normal. A grain of rice, a staple food for roughly half the world's population.
Reiskorn nehmen wir auch mit.
Moss is a great hiding place for tardigrades because it traps water, provides shelter, and it's actually the inspiration for my favorite nickname for them, moss piglets. Moss is also one of their favorite snacks. A giant moss to snack on will surely distract our big buddy from those barricades for a while. Too bad we didn't bring a little ranch dressing. This will have to do. If we could get that giant tardigrade to go into its ton state, that should keep it under control for a while. We should go back to the human realm and see how we can calm our tank into a ball. Green algae like this are an important source of oxygen and food for other organisms that live in water.
Vogel.
There are lots of ways to make a tardigrade go into its ton state. High pressure, lack of oxygen, dehydration, heat, cold. If we had a tasty snack, you could use the drone to lure the tardigrade somewhere with one of those things.
Okay, bei Kälte verfällt er in Linkstarre, also versuche ich mal dahin zu locken.
The claw on the drone is perfect for moving things around. Now, where should we lead the tardigrade? Maybe someplace cold? Come on, take a bite. It's tasty, tasty moss. Oops, but it was a long shot anyway. The cart isn't cold enough to chill the entire tardigrade. We can try drying it off instead. Anything around we can use. A huge hairdryer would be perfect. Or a bonfire.
Hier Lagerfeuer machen.
If you're ever stuck, check the lab tab. The transcript tab records everything. Those bits of wood don't make a very good barricade anymore, but they could make a great fire. The heat would dehydrate the tardigrade, and at this distance, we wouldn't accidentally roast it.
So nur irgendwie anzünden.
Those bits of wood don't make a very good barricade anymore, but they could make a great fire. The heat would dehydrate the tardigrade, and at this distance, we wouldn't accidentally roast it.
Wo kriegen wir Feuer her?
A tree? Bonfire would probably dry out the tardigrade, but live trees don't make very good firewood. Those bits of wood don't make a very good barricade anymore, but they could make a great fire. The heat would dehydrate the tardigrade, and at this distance, we wouldn't accidentally roast it.
Tja, womit Feuer machen?
The easiest way to get the tardigrade into its ton state is probably to cool it down or find a way to dry up its watery coat. We have fuel for a fire, so technically all we need is a match, but that's boring. There are much cooler ways to create a spark. Let's swing by the molecular realm.
Feuer auf molekularer Ebene. Gehen wir.
Welcome to the molecular realm. Remember that broken barricade? These are its molecules, plus some from the air around it. This is a cooling tower. It cools water by exposing as much of the water's surface to air as possible. Now we have plenty of shrinkagen for the tardigrade, as soon as we get it calmed down. Oxygen is a key ingredient of fire, but regular oxygen molecules, we need these oxygen molecules to speed up. The duck drone has just the perfect gadget.
Blut an der Barrikade.
Fire needs fuel. Anything with both carbon and hydrogen atoms will burn if you get it hot enough, so these cellulose molecules in the wood should do just fine.
Find a way to make oxygen.
Oxygen is a key ingredient of fire, but regular oxygen molecules bouncing into things don't cause fires. If they did, we'd be in a lot of trouble. For the oxygen molecules to react with the fuel, we'll need more and stronger collisions. I originally made the drone's flagellum to help duct. With enough force, oxygen molecules are able to break down the bonds between molecules in the wood, releasing energy and light. Fire is chemistry and physics in action.
Okay, brennt schon.
The lab tab is a useful resource if you're ever feeling at a loss or just want to reflect on everything you've done so far.
Brennt es schon?
Here it is. Bet you wished you had some marshmallows now. See the steam coming off the tardigrade? That's the film of water around its body evaporating. It will go into its ton state shortly and stay there until you can shrink it down and return it to the water. Don't worry, in that state it can survive almost anything. It'll be fine. Yep, it worked. Now we need to put the fire out. Apparently, the ants didn't mind the cardboard and foam flavor. Scientists don't know everything about how the tardigrade ton state works yet, though tardigrades can use a certain kind of sugar to replace the water in their bodies, and that protects their internal structures.
Muss ich jetzt das Feuer erst ausmachen oder was? Oder kann ich das schon trinken?
These carbon dioxide molecules were formed in this combustion reaction. They'll come in handy when it's time to put the fire out. Why don't you collect some? Carbon dioxide is heavier than oxygen, so large quantities of it can get in between the fire and its fuel, cutting off the combustion reaction. We only have a little right now, but you know how to make that into a lot, right? A few molecule-sized molecules wouldn't be enough to put out a fire, but a few giant molecules will be. Those are waiting for us in the human realm whenever you're ready. What a beautiful roaring fire. So cozy. Agitating those oxygen molecules with the drone started a combustion reaction. In other words, fire. You'll recognize it once we're back in the human realm. Just fly the drone over the fire and pull the trigger to release the CO2. Scientists don't know everything about how the tardigrade ton state works yet, though tardigrades can use a You'll need to take the capsule out if you want to analyze things. Goodbye, little water bear. Well, that was exciting, wasn't it? Now, let's get rid of that giant rubber duck. We don't want it reminding everyone who's caused all this trouble. Head to the mountain realm when you're done here.
Ist aber jetzt nicht schon vorbei, oder?
Okay, time to clean up. Oh, what now? Ugh, it appears something large and slimy is oozing through town. Back to the human realm we go.
Okay, dann beende ich jetzt hier den Stream oder die Aufnahme. Ich hoffe, diesmal ist der Ton mit drauf. Bis jetzt gefällt es mir echt gut. Ich befürchte nur, es ist zu kurz.
Oh, that's a very large protist. And it appears to be eating anything within reach. Well, you know the drill. Scan away.
Sekunde, wir gehen noch einmal hier ins Menü. Vielleicht erahnen, mehr Missionen gibt. Anhand der Kapseln, die hier stehen für die Mission. Und wenn man hier drauf gehen. Nein! Nein! Ich habe den Knopf gedrückt aus Versehen. Wie doof. Okay. Ne? So. Hände weg. So, hier sind wir 1, 2, 3. Ja, viertes kommt bestimmt noch. Ich glaube zwar nicht, dass es hier noch ganz rumgeht, aber vielleicht kommt ja noch was. Kann ja sein, dass wir noch was nachlesen. Collection Progress 50%. Okay. Videos Unlocked 11 von 21. Achso, ja, die Videos sind ja auch noch drin. Gucken wir da gleich auch mal rein. Erstmal hier die Collection angucken. Nee, den geht ja jetzt Home-Menü. Ich sag schon mal Tschüss. Achso, hier schmeißt ich dann was. Er will meine Room-Data. Habe ich hier aber nicht. Also, ich kann das hier nicht einrichten. Mixed Reality, weil ich hier das im Dachgeschoss auf dem Bett mache. Ein bisschen doof. So. Hier. Danke fürs Zuschauen.